My name is Elizabeth Faso, and I'm a descendant from TSI Island, where my mother is from, and our language is Kalakawaya. And 70 years ago, my people, about a good 300, migrated from Saibai to where we have current communities of Bamaga and Saisia, and they were the Saibai Islanders that settled into that area.
The community is aware how important it is to maintain our languages, especially in this region, here in Cairns. And it is also sort of worrying and frightening at the same time. Our Torres Strait Islander next generation does not speak or write our languages.
We were told not to speak language on the school grounds. So that's how I got introduced to English.
Because we were displaced and our language is lost, totally lost. Sacred sites lost, totally lost. That's what we're trying to build upon now for the future generations.
My children, they've lost it completely. They can understand, but they are unable to respond fluently. Maybe in Yumpla talk they can in Torres Strait Creole Pidgin.
Language is important. It's identity for Indigenous people, and it's connected to all the cultural aspects. It's not a spoken word only, so it's part of like it goes into songs, our ceremonies, talking to certain members of your community, but using different languages as well. So it's all that, but you have to retain it up here. You know, it's not written, it's only oral.
We also have this illness called transgenerational trauma. Because of all these things, the story's been passed down by massacres and displacements, and yeah. But when I found all the information and we sit down with the families and explain, first we were very angry, and then we come to realize that happened in the past. That's how it was. Not just here, a lot of places.
Through Caribbean and Torres Strait Islander Corporation, we are now trying to put strategies in place how best we can introduce the language into schools, Torres Strait Islander populated schools like Trinity Bay High School or Cairns West Primary School, and work in diversity between language speakers and service providers, not just in schools but across general community, to understand that diversity of communicating in language would be very, very important for us.
But this is what we're looking and we want to do. So, like you must have heard, what's the name, said something about where we can get funding once we get things going. We got things going now, but getting other people involved too, people that fluent in speaking language.
Language and culture is actually your identity. It's the impetus to your identity. It's very, very important. Like in my particular family, we know a bit of the cultural thing and a bit of the language, but it's not enough because it was all destroyed and taken away. We've got to bring it all back.
Language, yes, is the identity, the art, the identity. That's how I see language, and it's important that yeah. It's a good thing if they do, you know, and I encourage that too, because and they can too. Well, they can learn their grandfather language and they can learn my language too. So Yalanji, Aboriginal and Torres Strait language.
I think in the context of introducing into schools, having it written down and be able to write a letter to my friend in my own language, that would be a really good breakthrough. And that's what we are targeting. If language can be recorded and in writing, these days we have computers, we have new technologies that's been introduced. Culture have moved on, so is the language.
I hope they can understand what happened and in the past, and like what's going to happen in the future. And it's very important. Like I found out about my ancestor, that's gone. I've explained it to my kids, but for the children, the next generation, they're a different generation. They don't have to deal the way we dealt with it. They don't have that transgenerational trauma. It stops with us. So they're different. They grow up, they should be reconciled with non-Indigenous people. They should all reconcile.
I love to encourage people, more people, if they can come and join our organization from a language-speaking background, where we can do something to teach the younger ones the language.